working with all the farmers to try and implement various best management practices which will reduce phosphorus and sediment into the local creek. And then of course in turn that will improve the Great Lakes. Equipment that we have in this little shed here is powered by the solar panel on top of the roof. It powers the battery, which then powers the water sampler. So we collect water quality data through the samples, and we collect water level data from a unit that goes into the creek and sends bubbles out, and it sort of measures the height of the water. And we also have a rainfall tipping bucket on top of the roof as well, so we collect rainfall data, water level data, and water samples. And we use all that data to try and paint a picture of what's going on from a water quality standpoint in the creek. I'll show you here. And this unit can be programmed to collect a sample either an hour or 2-hour basis or whatever you'd like. And what we use these things for is we have one at each outlet of each little watershed on this particular study. And again, we want to know what the water quality like is during base flow periods, but also during storm event periods. So one of the unique features of this project is that we're building on something that actually started over 25 years ago. 25 years ago, the federal government came into this watershed and decided to try and implement a whole suite of best management practices across the watershed. And again, see how those best management practices improved water quality in the creek. So that was about a 4 or 5 year project, and data was collected, and we're using that data now to compare with what we have today with what went on back then. Another feature of this project is we're going back and reassessing or re-looking at all those best management practices to see how they've held up over time, see how the farmers have liked them, if their decision to put them in has worked, how they've operated in terms of saving soil or improving water quality in the creek, and would they do it again. It's sort of a social component of this particular project as well. Here is that we're going to take a flow measurement in the stream to determine how much water is coming down the creek at this point in time. And this is important because we need to know how much water is coming down over the course of the whole year, actually. Because we use that data to, when we take a water sample, we have to know how much water is coming down, so that when we get the results back from the water sample, we multiply the volume of water by the concentration of what's in that sample. So how much phosphorus is in that 1 liter bottle, and we multiply that out by how much water is coming down the creek, and that gives us something called a load. So we can figure out how many kilograms or how many tons of phosphorus come down the creek over the course of a year. What I'm doing now is taking a cross section of the creek. So I'll take measurements at intervals across the creek, and I'll multiply all of those results together, and that'll give me a flow. At this point in the creek, we are measuring 0.31 feet per second, cubic feet per second. So I'll take that measurement of 0.31 cubic feet per second there, then I'll move over an interval, and I'll do it again. One of the important things with this project is that we're working very closely with the farmers in this watershed to install a various suite of best management practices that will work for them. And one key element is that we want to make sure that we can transfer what the lessons that we've learned here, not only to the local landowners, but to work with the various farm organizations and other partners across the province to transfer that information in a way that they find useful on their particular properties or their particular farms. This project is a 3-year project. It's funded by the Ministry of Agriculture and Food. And we work with several partners, the most important ones being the local landowners, but we also work with local farmer organizations, the various ministries and agencies, as well as the local conservation authorities.